Welcome back, everyone. It's always a pleasure to have you here at Turkish Spotlight Secrets. If dramatic celebrity revelations, careful deep dives, and real behind-the-scenes whispers are your thing, make sure you subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a fresh upload. Because today's story, while still being discussed and debated, is the kind of moment that has the entire entertainment world pausing mid-breath. One single image, just one, has stirred up everything we thought we understood about Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel. For weeks there were murmurs, cryptic messages, and emotional hints from both sides, but few could have predicted how far the conversation would go after what surfaced. The chatter had been building for a while, some of it hopeful, some of it skeptical, and some of it just plain nosy. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, a photo appeared online that people claim shows Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel in a kiss. It didn't look like a scene from a drama and it didn't feel like a promotional stunt. The alleged image, according to those who say they were there, was captured at a private event, away from the usual blinding flashes and relentless questions. In a tucked-away corner, still within a buzzing crowd, yet somehow insulated from it, two people found a fragile pocket of calm. And in that quiet, the moment everyone is now talking about appears to have unfolded. Individuals who insist they saw it describe an intimacy that didn't seem forced. They mention the long, rooted eye contact, hushed exchanges that felt like history being acknowledged, and a closeness that gave the impression the rest of the world had faded into background noise. If the image is genuine, what it captures does not read as something awkward or staged. It looks like emotion finally allowed to breathe. To admirers who have followed their connection since those winds of love days, it lands like a long-delayed echo finally reaching the shore. We all remember the way Barış once spoke as if he could never truly let go of the woman who meant more than words could carry, and the way Yağmur hinted that unless fate spun the compass back toward the person who felt like home, she wouldn't be saying yes to anyone. Many wrote those lines off as the polite language of press junkets. Now, they sound like the soft outline of a reunion quietly taking shape just out of sight. The second the picture hit the internet, it tore through timelines. People posted it, argued about it, zoomed in, zoomed out, and dissected every pixel. Angles were debated. Expressions were read like pages of a book. Even posture became a point of obsession. Within minutes, it was trending across continents. From Europe to Latin America to every corner where fans have rooted for them since Winds of Love, the consensus seemed to tilt toward a single phrase: the comeback of the year, if it's real. The scale of the reaction alone tells you how deeply this pair is lodged in the public's imagination. They weren't just another on-screen duo, they were a feeling people held on to. Now to what insiders are whispering. Multiple sources claim this moment did not come out of the blue. Word is that Barış and Yağmur have been quietly meeting for months, choosing private spaces over public appearances, doing the work of mending what needed mending, and slowly letting their hearts remember what they had. According to those who say they know, the kiss, if that image truly shows one, wasn't a slip. It was a choice. A soft, deliberate yes to something that never fully ended. That sentiment has reshaped how the public is talking about them. Where there was fog and half-truths and the constant reading of social media tea leaves, there is now a storyline many people feel they can finally understand. Something between them, at the very least, is alive again. But of course, with a story this big, 1,000 questions bloom at once. What happens next? Will they step out together at a major event? Will there be an official statement to anchor all the speculation? Or was this, assuming that image is authentic, only the opening scene of many private moments yet to be glimpsed? Some industry watchers, keeping one eye on their recent language about commitment and another on how gracefully their paths have started to align again, are already forecasting a future engagement. That might sound bold, but so did the idea of them finding each other again, and look at the conversation we're having today. Meanwhile, magazine covers across the world are practically writing themselves, framing them as the reunion everyone has been waiting for, filling pages with timelines, callbacks, and that one photo. Let's go back to the night in question, as pieced together from overlapping accounts. The venue, while buzzing with laughter and music, offered a few shaded alcoves and quieter pockets. You know, the kind of place where the light pools in amber at the edges of the room, and conversations take on a warmer, gentler tone. People say Barış and Yağmur arrived separately, mindful of the eyes that find them even when they wish to be invisible. For much of the evening, they kept to different sides of the room, exchanging glances only when they were sure no one was tracking their movements. But if you listen to the way witnesses describe it, destiny seemed patient, almost amused, waiting for the moment they would drift into the same orbit. When they finally did, nothing dramatic happened at first. No sweeping gestures. No grand declarations. Just two people who tried to speak softly enough to keep the world out. It starts with a smile, tired, perhaps, but relieved. Like an apology without words. Then a line or two, the kind of check-in that isn't so much about what's said as how it's heard. A pause. The recognition that they still understand each other's silences. And then, if the accounts are to be believed, a decision, made with the steady ease of old familiarity. It's the naturalness of that decision that has everyone debating. Because even in a still picture, naturalness shows. By morning, the online debate was fierce. Some insisted it had to be a clever still from an unreleased project, others swore it was the real thing. Fans catalogued their past interviews for clues, threading together moments that now read like a breadcrumb trail. Remember that time he smiled in a way that didn't match the question? Or when she paused before saying the most careful version of the truth? These became the tiny fossils of a story still being assembled. And if you think it's just fans doing the archaeology, think again. Editors, producers, and old colleagues weighed in, telling safe, warm anecdotes about the bond that set them apart on the Winds of Love set. No one said too much. But no one said nothing either. This brings us to the shift in narrative. Until recently, the way we talked about Barış and Yağmur was wrapped in the conditional tense, maybe, perhaps, possibly. It was a tense that disguised hope as logic. Now, with that alleged image in rotation, and with the chorus of insiders insisting something real is happening, the conversation has moved. People are speaking in present tense. You can hear it in the way fans say their names together with an ease that had been missing. You can feel it in the relief of those who never stopped believing they were endgame. The uncertainty didn't just blur the edges of their story, it kept people from admitting how invested they still were. The moment the fog lifted, admission came pouring out. What's next is the part that ignites the imagination. Will they be photographed side by side at a premiere or charity gala, their hands finding each other without thinking? Will there be a joint post with careful wording that acknowledges the past while making room for the future? Or will they let the mystery breathe a while longer, choosing a quieter path where private promises matter more than public statements? For all the appetite viewers have for answers, there's also a respect, somewhere underneath the frenzy, for the idea that healing doesn't owe anyone a timeline. Still, entertainment pundits say their recent comments about loyalty and long-term dreams have an unmistakable ring. Not a campaign. A conviction. That's why talk of a ring, yes, that ring, refuses to die down. Every major magazine, it seems, is eager to declare this the reunion that defines the year. Headlines are being tested with phrases like the meeting everyone was waiting for, testing how it lands in bold print. Editors are sculpting narratives around perseverance, timing, and the way certain people walk back into your life at exactly the moment you're brave enough to let them. And it's impossible not to notice how the conversation brings out the best in their admirers. People are kinder in the comments when they believe love is winning. They call back scenes from Winds of Love as though these characters found a way to step off the screen and do the brave thing in real life. The overlap is irresistible. To be fair, skepticism still has a chair at the table. A few voices warn that a single picture, no matter how compelling, can mislead. Others point out that timing can be a trickster. But even the skeptics have softened their tone, calling this not proof so much as promise. A promise that two people who once mattered profoundly to each other may be finding a way back, not with fireworks, but with honesty. In a way, that's the part that gives this story endurance. It's not a scandal. It's something much harder to manufacture, a quiet yes. And so we circle back to the questions that keep the comment sections alive. Do you think this is the start of an entirely new chapter for Barış, Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel? Or is it a short, beautiful detour on the long road of their lives? Did you see this coming all along, tucked between the lines of their interviews? Or are you stunned, delighted that reality may finally be catching up with your favorite wishful thinking? Whatever you believe, you're part of this moment. Your theories, your memories, your favorite clips from Winds of Love, all of it feeds the energy that surrounds their names. If you've enjoyed this careful, emotionally honest breakdown, show your support by hitting like and subscribing to Turkish Spotlight Secrets for more nuanced updates. Your encouragement helps us bring you the richest stories from the world of entertainment, with equal parts heart and context. And keep your notifications on, because whether a joint appearance drops next week or the next time they feel ready, you'll hear about it here. The spotlight is bright, the whispers are growing, and this love story, whatever shape it ultimately takes, feels like it's only just beginning. Before we go, a note that matters. Everything we've discussed today is based on what's being circulated, what witnesses say they saw, and what insiders claim to know. Until there's an official confirmation from Barış, Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel themselves, treat the image and the interpretations with care. Hope can be as luminous as it is fragile. Still, sometimes the most extraordinary chapters start with a single, unguarded glance, a moment of courage under warm lights, and the gentle discovery that time has been patiently waiting for them to be ready. If that is what we're seeing now, then perhaps the truest headline is the simplest one of all: some stories find their way home.